The 1979 no-mint-mark Lincoln Memorial penny stands out as one of the most fascinating coins from the late 20th century because it connects everyday circulation money with the world of high-value collectibles. While millions of pennies were struck, in 1979, only a select few without any mint mark on the obverse have drawn significant attention from numismatists and investors alike. Usually, pennies minted in Philadelphia during this time do not carry a mint mark. But what makes certain examples of this year remarkable is their pristine condition, scarcity in higher grades, and strong demand among collectors who seek to complete sets with top-quality specimens. The obverse design features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln created by Victor David Brenner, a motif that first appeared in 1909 to celebrate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. On the reverse, Frank Gasparo's depiction of the Lincoln Memorial provides symmetry and detail, honoring the monument in Washington, D.C., while symbolizing Lincoln's enduring legacy. At first glance, the coin may look ordinary, yet upon closer inspection, its rarity and preserved condition elevate it from pocket change to a treasure commanding thousands of dollars at auction. The journey of this penny's value is rooted in its condition and grading. While circulated pieces often hold little more than face value, uncirculated or near-perfect examples certified by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC can fetch staggering sums. Collectors specifically look for examples with full luster, sharp strikes, and virtually no contact marks. In rare cases, coins displaying these qualities have reached a market value of up to $5,500, placing them far above common cents of the same era. This transformation from a coin worth just 1 cent to an asset valued in the thousands demonstrates how numismatics combines history, artistry, and economics. Unlike modern issues struck by the billions with less attention to detail, certain older coins achieve legendary reputations because they are difficult to find in such flawless states, and the 1979 no-mint-mark penny is a perfect example of this phenomenon. Beyond condition, collector psychology plays an essential role in driving prices upward. For many hobbyists, owning a rare cent from the late 1970s represents not just a financial investment, but also a piece of Americana, linking them to decades of history and coinage tradition. Some see it as an opportunity to hold a tangible artifact, connected to the inflationary period of the late 1970s, while others appreciate the artistry and continuity of Lincoln's image through generations. Each coin tells its own story: who handled it, how it survived without damage, and how it eventually entered the spotlight as an object of desire for collectors across the world. The excitement of discovering such a coin in a roll of pennies or inherited collection adds another layer of fascination, making the pursuit of the 1979 no-mint-mark penny both a thrilling treasure hunt and a lesson in American history. Auction. Houses and online marketplaces have witnessed fierce bidding wars over these coins, especially those in mint state red grades, where the surfaces retain their original copper brilliance. Unlike toned or worn pieces, these fiery red specimens dazzle with their eye appeal and rarity. Some buyers are willing to pay a premium simply to secure ownership of the finest examples known, leading to record-breaking sales. In fact, documented sales have shown steady upward trends, proving that demand remains strong despite the coin being relatively modern compared to earlier wheat pennies or colonial issues. For many collectors, securing a 1979 no-mint-mark penny in exceptional condition feels like adding a crown jewel to their collection. Ultimately, this penny proves that rarity is not always about age, but often about condition, demand, and historical context. A coin struck over 4 decades ago, still circulating in pockets and jars today, can be worth thousands if preserved under the right circumstances. The 1979 no-mint-mark Lincoln Memorial penny teaches collectors an invaluable lesson. Never overlook small details in seemingly ordinary coins, because hidden gems like this can change your perspective on what makes a cent truly priceless. With a market value of $5,500, it remains a shining example of how numismatics turns humble copper into a coveted treasure. Next up, 1981, no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny, value 5,000. The 1981 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny is one of those fascinating modern-era coins that quietly transformed from an everyday cent into a collectible with serious financial weight. On the surface, it may appear like a regular copper-plated coin that circulated in huge numbers, yet certain factors elevate select examples into the upper echelon of numismatics. Produced in Philadelphia, pennies from this year carry no mint mark. But what makes them truly valuable is not simply where they were minted, but how well they have survived the decades since their release. High-grade survivors, especially those preserved in pristine condition, are eagerly sought by collectors and can bring an impressive market value of around $5,000 at auctions. For a coin originally worth just a cent, this kind of transformation captures the imagination of both new hobbyists and seasoned professionals. The design itself carries layers of significance. On the front, Abraham Lincoln's dignified profile continues to represent leadership and perseverance, a portrait that has become an inseparable part of American identity since its first introduction in the early 20th century. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, an image that symbolized national unity throughout the memorial cent era, providing continuity across decades of American coinage. What sets apart the 1981 no mint mark penny, however, is not the artwork itself, but the incredible challenge of finding one in superb condition, untouched by circulation. Everyday handling often left scratches, dullness, or discoloration on these cents, so examples with sharp strikes, brilliant luster, and no visible blemishes are exceptionally rare. The story of why this coin holds so much value lies in the world of coin grading. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins under magnification, assigning grades that can dramatically influence market worth. For the 1981 no mint mark penny, the highest graded pieces, those showing their original red copper, surfaces, and near-perfect detail, are the ones that reach the $5,000 level. Lower grade versions exist in abundance, but they do not command the same excitement because they lack the rarity of near-flawless preservation. In fact, it is the difficulty of locating an immaculate example from such a heavily used coinage period that makes this issue so intriguing to serious collectors. Another factor fueling demand is the timing of this coin's release. The early 1980s marked a transitional period in U.S. coinage. By 1982, the composition of the penny changed from mostly copper to a copper-coated zinc core, forever altering the feel, weight, and longevity of America's smallest denomination. The 1981 cent, therefore, represents the final full year of traditional copper-based production, making it the end of an era. This historical detail adds to its desirability, since collectors often attach greater significance to last year issues or coins minted right before a major change. For enthusiasts who specialize in memorial cents, the 1981 no mint mark version in high grade is not just another date. It is a closing chapter to one of the most iconic phases of U.S. coinage. Auction records and private sales consistently highlight the strength of this coin in the marketplace. When examples in mint state red or even higher designations like MS-67 or MS-68 appear, they tend to spark competitive bidding. Collectors recognize the scarcity of such pieces and are often willing to pay far above standard price guides to secure one for their collection. Unlike many modern coins that remain readily available in rolls or bags, the finest 1981 no mint mark cents have already been discovered and certified, creating a sense of urgency among buyers who do not want to miss their chance. For many, winning such a coin at auction feels like claiming a piece of history that is both culturally significant and financially rewarding. What also makes this coin captivating is the psychological aspect of its value. Imagine holding a penny minted more than 4 decades ago, something countless people may have overlooked in their pocket change, and realizing it could be worth thousands. The thrill of such a discovery fuels the broader interest in coin collecting, inspiring treasure hunters to check every coin jar, every inherited box, and every roll from the bank for hidden gems. The 1981 no mint mark penny serves as a reminder that valuable finds are not limited to ancient or exotic coins. They can also be hiding in plain sight within modern U.S. coinage. The market for this penny continues to show resilience because demand is supported by multiple collecting communities. Those who focus on Lincoln cents see it as an essential high-grade key date. Those who collect by type view it as a historically important issue tied to the transition away from copper coinage. Even investors who may not be traditional numismatists recognize its potential as a tangible asset, with documented sales in the thousands. With more attention being drawn to modern rarities, it is no surprise that the 1981 no mint mark penny enjoys such strong momentum in today's numismatic scene. Ultimately, the value of this coin reflects the perfect combination of scarcity, condition, and historical context. While billions of pennies entered circulation in 1981, only a very limited number meet the standards that collectors demand. For those lucky enough to own a top-grade piece, it represents far more than just a 1-cent coin. It is a valuable artifact of American coinage history, with an established market value of $5,000. It demonstrates how even small denominations can carry immense worth when preserved carefully and recognized for their place in the timeline of U.S. money. For collectors, investors, and history enthusiasts alike, the 1981 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny is a shining reminder that extraordinary treasures can often be found in the most ordinary of places. Next up, 1982. No mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny, value $4,700. The 1982 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny has become one of the most discussed coins of the modern era because it represents a pivotal moment in U.S. numismatic history. Unlike earlier or later issues, 1982 stands apart as the year when the composition of the penny underwent a major transformation, creating both variety and confusion that collectors continue to analyze today. For decades prior, cents were made primarily of copper, but rising metal costs forced the U.S. Mint to alter the design internally. That year, the penny shifted from a heavy bronze alloy to a lighter copper-plated zinc composition, making 1982 a transitional year that produced multiple variations. Some examples were struck in copper, others in zinc, with subtle differences in weight and design lettering. The no mint mark version from Philadelphia occupies a special place among these varieties because it can reach a market value of around $4,700 in superb condition, proving how significant a single year of production can be in reshaping the entire collecting landscape. On the obverse of this penny, Abraham Lincoln's portrait retains the classical look that has graced U.S. coinage since 1909. Yet beyond, the familiar design lies an extraordinary story of production experimentation and change. The reverse carries Frank Gasparo's interpretation of the Lincoln Memorial, still detailed with the tiny seated statue of Lincoln visible inside the monument. What makes this coin exceptional is not just its design, but its connection to one of the most important shifts in small denomination coinage during the 20th century. Collectors have long been fascinated by transitional issues, and the 1982 penny delivers that intrigue in spades. Because both copper and zinc versions exist, finding a no mint mark cent in pristine form has become a challenging quest that fuels excitement in the numismatic community. Grading plays a decisive role in separating ordinary examples from truly valuable ones. Everyday circulated pieces typically hold little beyond face value, but those preserved in flawless condition, showing crisp strikes, glowing original surfaces, and no distracting blemishes, are the specimens that attract serious attention. Certification by respected services such as PCGS and NGC ensures authenticity and provides the grade that investors and collectors trust when bidding. High-end mint state red examples, particularly those verified at MS67 or higher, have been recorded selling for $4,700 or more. That figure reflects the rarity of encountering a coin from this transitional year that has survived without even the slightest sign of wear. For perspective, billions of cents were struck in 1982, yet only a minuscule fraction have remained in such immaculate condition, which explains their elevated worth. Another reason this coin resonates so strongly is the educational opportunity it provides. Collectors of all experience levels often use 1982 pennies as a starting point to learn about composition differences. A simple scale reveals whether a cent from this year is the heavier copper variety, 3.11 grams, or the lighter zinc version, 2.5 grams. This hands-on approach gives the hobby a practical, engaging angle that draws people deeper into numismatics. While the no mint mark copper pennies are often the most coveted, even the zinc pieces in perfect preservation carry premiums. The Philadelphia strikes, identified by their lack of mint mark, tie directly into this narrative, reminding enthusiasts how everyday coins can become gateways into broader historical exploration. The excitement surrounding these coins has also been fueled by auction, results in collector buzz, listings of gem quality. No mint mark 1982 pennies frequently draw competitive bidding, especially when they are copper-based, since the metallic composition links back to earlier traditions of U.S. cent production. Bidders are often motivated, not only by investment potential but also by the prestige of owning a coin from one of the most studied and talked about years in modern American coinage. Market values remain strong, with buyers willing to pay far above standard guide prices for examples that shine with original red brilliance. This willingness to spend big money on what once circulated as a single cent demonstrates how collector passion, combined with rarity and condition, drives demand upward. For investors, the 1982 no mint mark penny also serves as an example of how timing matters in coin collecting. Transitional issues often gain attention years or even decades after their release, once collectors fully grasp their significance. That is precisely what has happened here. At the time of striking, these pennies were common pocket change, overlooked by nearly everyone. Today, however, they are viewed as historic markers of economic and minting change. This transformation adds an extra dimension of value, making them more than just coins. They are touchstones of a broader narrative about how U.S. coinage adapts to the pressures of material costs and public demand. Psychologically, part of the allure lies in the idea that such valuable coins could still be hiding in plain sight. While the odds are slim, roll hunters and casual hobbyists often check their spare change for 1982 cents, weighing them to determine if they are copper or zinc, and examining their surfaces for signs of exceptional preservation. The dream of finding a high-grade example worth $4,700 keeps the hunt alive, inspiring thousands of collectors across the country to look more closely at what others might dismiss as ordinary money. That sense of adventure, of treasure hunting in the everyday, is one of the most appealing aspects of the hobby. In summary, the 1982 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny is not just another 1-cent piece. It is a landmark of American coinage. As the final moment of copper tradition and the beginning of the zinc era, it embodies change, scarcity, and enduring value. With top examples reaching $4,700, this penny proves that even the smallest denomination can carry immense historical weight and financial importance. For collectors, it represents a thrilling combination of rarity, educational depth, and investment potential. For history enthusiasts, it serves as a reminder of how economic pressures shape even the coins in our pockets. And for treasure hunters, it symbolizes the possibility that life-changing finds can still emerge from the most ordinary sources. Next up, 1986, no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny, value $4,500. The 1986 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny is a remarkable coin that demonstrates how even relatively modern cents can reach extraordinary levels of desirability when the right combination of condition, rarity, and historical interest come together. While billions of pennies were produced during the mid-1980s, the Philadelphia Mint issues without a mint mark stand out in the eyes of collectors because top-graded survivors have become incredibly difficult to obtain. At first glance, this cent may appear no different from countless others struck during the same decade, but closer inspection reveals why it has earned a reputation as one of the standout memorial-era issues. When preserved in immaculate mint state condition, the 1986 no mint mark penny has been known to achieve values as high as $4,500, making it a star among coins that many people once dismissed as ordinary pocket change. The design, of course, is part of the long-running tradition of Lincoln cents. The obverse continues to feature Victor David Brenner's portrait of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse still displays Frank Gasparo's detailed rendering of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. By the 1980s, Americans were deeply familiar with this design. It had been circulating for decades and was part of daily life. Yet familiarity should not be mistaken for insignificance. In fact, part of the charm of the 1986 no mint mark penny is that something so seemingly common can, under the right circumstances, become a numismatic treasure. Its value lies not in rarity of mintage, but in rarity of survival. Finding one with a blazing red finish, flawless surfaces, and full strike details is like uncovering a needle in a haystack. By 1986, the U.S. Mint had already been producing copper-plated zinc cents for several years, following the composition change of 1982. This means that the 1986 no mint mark penny belongs firmly to the zinc era, weighing 2.5 grams and built with a thin copper coating over its core. While this composition helped the mint reduce costs, it also made the coins more prone to surface issues such as bubbling, streaking, or deterioration over time. Because of this, locating a 1986 cent in pristine condition, completely free of those imperfections, has proven to be extremely difficult. This scarcity in top preservation grades has turned the coin into an object of high demand among collectors chasing the finest known examples. Grading, again, plays the central role in determining market worth. For circulated coins or those with obvious signs of handling, value typically remains minimal. But when a no mint mark 1986 penny is submitted to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC and comes back with a grade at the upper end of the mint state red scale, its market value can leap dramatically. Coins in MS-67 and above are particularly scarce, and it is these elite survivors that have crossed the auction block for sums nearing $4,500. What is especially noteworthy is that even though billions of these coins exist, the combination of condition rarity and collector demand makes such a price realistic and justified. Market performance over the years has confirmed the strength of this issue. Auction records show that when a gem-quality 1986 no mint mark penny appears, competitive bidding often drives the final price well beyond expectations. Collectors who focus on Lincoln cents view it as a key modern date to secure in top grade, while investors see it as a relatively affordable entry into the world of rare coins with strong growth potential. Unlike many modern coins that remain easy to locate in high grade, the 1986 no mint mark penny carries that special difficulty factor, which gives it an advantage in terms of long-term value retention. Another interesting aspect of this penny is how it embodies the story of numismatics itself, the blending of art, history, and chance. Every coin tells a story, and the 1986 no mint mark penny tells one of survival against the odds. Most cents from this year endured the rough realities of circulation, rattling in change drawers, tumbling through vending machines, or being stored in jars for years. Few made it into protective storage immediately after minting, which explains why high-grade survivors are so elusive today. For collectors, owning one feels like holding on to a piece of history that somehow escaped the wear and tear of decades, frozen in time exactly as it was struck. The psychological appeal of this penny cannot be overstated. To think that an object as small and unassuming as a cent could carry a price tag of $4,500, adds an almost magical element to the hobby. It fuels the passion of roll hunters, casual collectors, and seasoned numismatists alike. Many hobbyists dream of stumbling across such a coin in their change, even if the probability is small. That dream keeps people engaged with the hobby, checking jars, drawers, and old collections for hidden treasures. In this way, the 1986 No Mint Mark penny is more than just a coin. It is a spark that keeps the pursuit of numismatics alive for countless enthusiasts. It also serves as a powerful reminder that not all valuable coins are centuries old or produced in limited numbers. Sometimes value arises from condition rarity and collector enthusiasm rather than age or mintage. The 1986 penny proves that even within the modern zinc era, opportunities exist for coins to achieve impressive valuations when they meet the highest standards of quality. For collectors aiming to build a comprehensive set of memorial cents, obtaining one of these top-grade examples is often viewed as a cornerstone achievement. Ultimately, the 1986 No Mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny demonstrates that beauty, condition, and demand can elevate an ordinary object into an extraordinary treasure. With auction results confirming market values of up to $4,500, it stands tall among modern rarities. For the serious collector, it represents a challenge worth pursuing. For the investor, it provides a tangible asset with proven growth. And for the hobbyist, it is a symbol of possibility, that even the most common coin can reveal itself as something extraordinary under the right circumstances. Next up, 1987. No Mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny. Value for the 100. The 1987 No Mint Mark Lincoln Memorial penny is a striking example of how coins from a relatively recent decade can evolve into highly coveted collectibles. On the surface, it may look like a plain cent struck by the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark, one of billions produced that year. However, condition rarity and collector enthusiasm have propelled certain survivors into the spotlight, with the finest known pieces achieving prices around $4,100 at major auctions. This transformation from a common cent to a sought-after treasure illustrates the unpredictable yet fascinating nature of numismatics, where even coins minted in massive quantities can gain extraordinary value when preserved under the right circumstances. The design of the 1987 penny is part of a long legacy that Americans had become deeply familiar with by this time. The obverse carries Abraham Lincoln's enduring portrait created by Victor David Brenner, which had by then been in use for nearly 8 decades. The reverse features the stately Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparo, complete with the tiny seated statue of Lincoln visible between the columns. While the artwork was by no means new in 1987, the appeal of this coin lies not in its imagery, but in the rarity of superbly preserved examples. Most pennies struck in the late 1980s quickly entered circulation, where they endured scratches, dulling, and general wear. The few that escaped such treatment and retained their mint brilliance have become highly desirable to collectors who value condition above all else. By the mid-1980s, the U.S. Mint was firmly producing pennies with a copper-plated zinc core, a composition introduced in 1982 to reduce costs. While effective for saving money, this new metallic structure presented its own challenges. Zinc-based cents were more prone to surface problems, such as pitting or spotting, making flawless survivors increasingly rare as the years passed. The 1987 No Mint Mark penny therefore represents not only a modern collectible but also a product of its time, an era when the mint was grappling with economic realities while maintaining the tradition of Lincoln's portrait on the nation's smallest denomination. For collectors, this makes the coin a fascinating study in both metallurgy and minting history. Condition is everything when it comes to the value of this coin. A circulated example holds little more than face value, but coins that remain in exceptional mint state red condition tell a very different story. Grading agencies such as PCGS and NGC carefully examine these pennies under magnification, evaluating factors like strike quality, luster, and absence of contact marks. Only a tiny fraction reach the lofty grades of MS-67 or MS-68, and it is those coins that can command prices around $4,100. Such grades are extraordinarily rare considering how many coins from this period suffered from production and handling issues. This condition rarity drives demand and separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Collectors and investors alike have shown increasing interest in modern rarities like the 1987 no mint mark penny. While earlier wheat cents often capture headlines for their scarcity and historic charm, memorial cents from the 1980s are beginning to receive the recognition they deserve. This shift reflects a broader trend in the hobby. As older series become harder to afford, collectors turn their attention to more recent issues that are still obtainable but carry strong potential for appreciation. The 1987 penny, with its balance of availability in lower grades and extreme rarity in top condition, fits this niche perfectly. Auction results have consistently confirmed the desirability of this coin. When a high-grade example appears on the market, bidding is often intense as multiple collectors vie for ownership of a piece that rarely surfaces. These coins are not just valued for their condition, but also for their place in the Lincoln Cent series as representatives of the later memorial years. Winning one at auction often feels like securing a piece of hidden history, an artifact that withstood decades of potential damage to emerge as a gem of remarkable quality. The prestige associated with owning such a coin explains why buyers are willing to pay thousands of dollars for what might otherwise seem like an everyday penny. The appeal of this coin also extends beyond the financial. For many collectors, the thrill lies in the idea that such treasures could still be hiding in plain sight. Imagine sorting through a jar of old change or a box of inherited coins and spotting a 1987 no mint mark penny that looks unusually pristine. While the odds of finding a top-graded example this way are slim, the possibility fuels excitement and keeps collectors engaged with the hobby. That sense of discovery, of uncovering hidden value in an object as ordinary as a cent, is at the heart of numismatics. The 1987 penny embodies that thrill of the hunt in a particularly vivid way. Historically, the coin also marks a point in American life when pennies were still widely used in everyday commerce. The late 1980s were a period of economic change, cultural shifts, and technological advancement. Against that backdrop, the penny remained a constant companion in daily transactions, a reminder of continuity in the midst of change. Today, as discussions about the future of the penny circulate, coins like the 1987 no mint mark cent gain even more symbolic weight. They are not only collectibles, but also cultural artifacts that remind us of a time when the smallest denomination still played a central role in everyday life. Ultimately, the 1987 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny demonstrates how condition, rarity, historical significance, and collector demand converge to create value. Though billions were struck, only a few have survived in the pristine states required to command thousands of dollars. For those fortunate enough to own such a piece, it represents more than a simple coin. It is a testament to the unpredictable beauty of collecting, where ordinary objects become extraordinary treasures. With a proven market value of $4,100, this penny secures its place among the most intriguing modern-era collectibles, proving once again that hidden fortune can be found in the unlikeliest of places.